Hey guys, been a minute. Obviously, a lot of interesting things have been happening, but we have FSD 14.2.2.4. I just got that downloaded, and it's gonna be taking us home. So let me just get. Hey Grok, can you take me home?
Sure. Navigating home now. About 18 minutes away. 10 kilometers. ETA around 12:15 p.m.
So guys, now this is a weird one. We were supposed to go left here, and then decided to go right. It has added an extra minute to my drive now. Literally, the first thing I'm testing is the car doing something weird. Anyway, so 14.2.2.4. The release notes are exactly the same as those from 14.2.1, 14.2.2.1, all the way to 0.4. So there has been no, no updates in that regard. So they said it's bug fixes. So basically, it's hard to know exactly what it is, what the bug it is that it fixed. So I'm just gonna be testing this blindly. Now you see we're stuck here, extra 2 minutes to my drive that I did not need to experience. So yeah, I just got out of the car wash and just driving home in a bit. So that said, I already drove it here. There was no difference. It still drives really smooth. The handling could be better. In terms of navigation, could be really better, but in terms of taking you from one point to the other, I have zero worries. Like I literally can be eating and let it drive me. That's how comfortable it is. It has gotten, but those very little things, still there. So while this is a first impression drive by the title, in reality, it's like I already know what it's gonna do, if that makes sense. And so maybe talk you guys through some other things. Nothing unusual has happened so far in this drive. It's been smooth. But then a lot of interesting things have been happening in the world of Tesla, in the world of EVs. And I made a mental note of some of those, and for the next 16 minutes, if nothing unusual happens during this drive, I will be talking you guys through some of those. So for starters, Rivian has started their own sort of like self-driving system, ADAS system. They call it Autopilot. That name sounds interesting. It sounds like a Filipino name. Anyone who is Filipino who is watching this, correct me if I'm wrong, if my assumption is wrong. Anyway, one good thing about it that I think Tesla could actually borrow is I forgot the name they call it, but I'll just describe it to you guys. Basically, when, for instance, this car would want to run into a pothole, and then I intervene very quickly. Usually when I intervene, if I do not select self-driving again, it's not going to go back to self-driving. For them, it's like, yeah, you can make minor tweaks to it, and then the self-driving system just carries on. It's not a big deal as it were, but I think it's a nice thing Tesla could copy, and I know the car would have the ability to do that. For instance, I have to maybe I want to make sure there is no car around when I'm doing it. Let's say as we're heading down now, there is a pothole, and then I take over, and then now I have to put it back. for their own system, it's just going to continue because it knows, okay, this isn't like a permanent thing. And if you really want to take over, you take over completely. So that's something I think Tesla could have. But that's not really the juicy part. The juicy part that has happened so far is Elon saying Tesla is going to be taking away the ability for people to completely purchase full self-driving. And there's a debate that's been going around regarding when fully unsupervised full self-driving happens, whenever that happens to be, that when that happens, even those of us who have paid outright for full self-driving would still have to pay for unsupervised. I personally think that is stupid. I think it does not make sense. When we're buying into this thing, although the more recent contracts now, Tesla has been very careful to kind of word it into it by adding in brackets unsupervised. But I'm sure there's like tons of evidence of Elon speaking about it online and saying, oh yeah, this is like FSD is supposed to be full self-driving. So I'm interested to hear. Some are saying when unsupervised happens, those of us who already have FSD would have to pay extra for it. Some are in the camp that I think we should have it, outrightly. I'm in that camp where I believe. So here we're in Canada. Here in US it's 8,000 USD. In Canada it's $11,000. $11,000 will buy you a brand. No, sorry. Or was I going to say a brand new car? No, will buy you a really, a fairly good used car. You might not be able to buy a Toyota or a Honda, but you buy a decent used car that would last you for a while. If you are just starting out, I've personally bought $3,000 $3,000 car for someone that served them for like 3 years. So we're talking almost times 4 of that. So I'll get something really good. Oh, I didn't roll up completely. Can you imagine? I just go back from car, so I didn't roll up the windows at the back. Anyway, it's a lot of money to just throw away to a system that you believed or that you were sold the dream that this is going to become full self-driving down the line. Although I would say on a personal note, when I was buying it, I know it's still gonna be a long way out. In fact, I do not believe unsupervised would happen while this car will still be in like tip-top condition, like in perfect condition. I think if unsupervised is going to happen, okay, I was gonna say if I'm the one driving, I'm gonna go to the third lane. I'm just gonna go to the third lane because it tends to be the fastest always. Anyway, that's something on the side. So it's kind of sad that has been stripped away. Now, that's not all. What they are now doing, the Autopilot, I know I've complained about Autopilot in previous videos. In fact, there's a video I was supposed to put out tomorrow. I'm going to put this out instead, where I tested Model Y Juniper. I talked about it extensively, so maybe not something I should get into much. But what Elon is saying is they are taking away, in fact, they said they've done it already. They've taken it away from Model 3 and Model Y that are here in North America. They've taken away the complete autopilot system, and they just left, TACC, the Traffic Aware Cruise Control. And I think that does not make sense. If I buy a Toyota, a Kia, Hyundai, Chevrolet, they all have some form of ADAS system, some form of something that's equivalent to autopilot. Why would you take that away? There is a segment of the market, and I'm glad for the first time in a while, big non-Tesla influencer like Chuck, I forgot his channel name now. I saw his tweet yesterday. He was talking about it and saying this doesn't make sense because there's a subset of the market, quite a considerable subset of the market, who is only interested in buying autopilot. Like that video I'm going to post after this one shows, majority of people will even go ahead and test drive a Tesla. They don't even use the FSD. So they are fine with autopilot. Now, if you're taking that away, you are taking away. It's like, I don't know who is giving Elon this advice. Like who the advisor is. It does not make sense. you know, it's supposed, Tesla is a technology brand, right? So what I'm even like sort of like advocating for, I spoke to it in that video too, that FSD, you know, maybe a stripped down version of FSD, because the autopilot system doesn't make sense. It's not work. It doesn't work well. Although some people are still fine with it. They are fine with it. Like, as it doesn't make sense to me, because I've tested FSD and I love it. It feels like a huge downgrade. But some who haven't experienced FSD at all, it is fine for them. Autopilot is still miles ahead better than the systems in some of these other car brands. So while it might do some stupid things that those ones won't do, I do think it's still better. But overall, my point is, why strip it away completely? You are alienating a market segment. Like I said, and to tell you the numbers, when I tested that car, I'm kind of already revealing the things in the video anyway. 28%, it was like the FSD utilization rate. You know, when you go to autopilot, the self-driving starts. Mine is 81%, and this is the rest is from my wife, right? Anyway, that car was, I think, 20 something percent. So meaning for every 100% that drove that car, only 20, or let's bring it down, for every 10 persons that test drove, only 2 tested FSD. Make it make sense. So that means the larger, like the greater preponderance of the market are not even really interested in FSD. So there should be a system, like the tag doesn't make sense. It would not auto steer for you. It won't do any of those things for you. Tell me why I should buy a Tesla then. I do think, you know, mark this. I do think when the market starts, you know, Teslas are already tanking in Europe. I do think when that happens, and it's not happening here as well, then Elon will probably think about it, and maybe they will come to a realization that this is it. But I'm glad that, you know, the bigger influencers are talking about it, because it's what I've found in the past. Some are still not, you know, saying the truth. Everybody just kind of wants to say what Elon likes to hear, but that doesn't help the brand. It doesn't push it to get better. And I say, those of us who have hardware 4 now, given the treatment they meted out to like those with hardware 3, and Elon saying possibly unsupervised full self-drive might not come on this hardware, we get an upgrade. You know, I'm also wondering, if you take it away, for instance, you know, I'm not praying it happens, if this car, say, gets into an accident, gets totaled, and I'm, you know, giving another one, or I'm, you know, giving money to buy another one, usually we all know insurance doesn't usually pay like the full price. Even if they would pay, I'll haggle it out, even if I get the full price. What I'm hearing now is I cannot buy the full thing back into the car. I can't transfer it to this car, and then I have to stay subscribed for life. Honestly, if that happens, mark my words, I'm saying it today, I'm just going to go look for something else. I'm going to leave Tesla. Like, and I know so many other persons who are going to do that too. It hurts the brand. So, you know, some decisions, of course, as a billionaire, he's made those decisions, he's said those bogus things, and his company is at that point. Obviously, I am not at that point myself, so maybe they say something in my place. You can't advise a rich man how to spend his money. But we are affected because we use the products. We are like the ones who keep the company going, right? So, but yeah, what do you guys think? You know, I legit want to know, what's your opinion? Do you think when unsupervised comes, on a personal note, I think that's still a long way to go, like long way away. You know, all these people who have this grandiose idea that, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna be, maybe I'm working from home and I'm gonna send my car to go work as a robotaxi and make money for me. It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry to bust your bubble. We're not gonna make money from owning a Tesla. It's not gonna happen. The most is what we are enjoying right now, and I said I love it. Like, honestly, if this is all I get from it, fine. It will be annoying if others can get something better, you know, and I can't, simply due to no fault of my own, simply because Elon shifted the goalposts, you know, in the middle of the game, you know. So what do you guys think? Do you think unsupervised should come with if unsupervised eventually happens, if it does happen, or let me be optimistic and say when it does happen, do you think those of us who have bought into the system early enough, who have this, do you think we should also get the same system? Do you think we should get our cars upgraded to that? Let me know your thoughts. But like I said, navigation might be suspect. Okay, now I'm gonna put it in what happened? Normally, this is weird. Normally it would give me an option for charger, but it did not. Back. Okay, now it did. Wait. Yeah. So because usually I find when I put charger, that's when it drives me into the package. Do I have my key with me? Okay. So, view of driver obscured by a hat. First time I'm seeing that. So, smooth drive. I've had zero intervention, had nothing to do with it, until now. Now I'm gonna intervene because it's gonna want to go around here. No, that's wrong. You have to go round. This doesn't gotten right. I tried to show you guys the other day. It proved me wrong, but today it has kind of proven me right. So let me know your thoughts, guys. This is the first impression drive. There's honestly no update, I would say, but I just had to do it. And let me know your thoughts, especially regarding the unsupervised thing. And if you love what I do here, please like the video. It kind of helps me a little bit. And then just subscribe to the channel if you like to see this. I'm learning a new software. I'm learning DaVinci Resolve, and I'm trying to do more documentary style stuff, my trips, using Tesla, and even when I drove my other car. So if you guys are interested in that kind of thing, please subscribe. If you're not, please do not feel pressured to subscribe. Thanks for riding along, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.